Shalom, brothers and sisters. Blessings, happy feast of dedication. Give it up. I want to talk tonight, and I want to say first and foremost, again, all praises to the Almighty. We got a topic today, brothers and sisters. The Feast of Dedications. The Feast of Dedications. And what we're going to talk about, brothers and sisters, is the fact that they thought they could keep us down. And what dedicating ourselves to the Most High means. And I'm going to go into the mindset using the wisdom out of scriptures. Now, let me tell you this before I go in, before we start really diving into these scriptures. There's a few things I just want to talk about. The children of Israel in the earth, our people here in America in particular, have been blindsided. Now, what do I mean by that? A world has entered in our presence that the everyday person who have lived here in America, our people in particular, isn't prepared to contend against. And what do I mean by that? The rest of the world intentionally, under the powers of Rome, have become and have for a long time been subservient to the powers. And through that, their world have already adjusted to what's about to come. In particular, like Africa, Serbia in the Eastern Europe, parts of Eastern Europe, the Middle East, even what our brothers and sisters experience amongst the 10 tribes in South America. They've learned to survive in what the one world apparatus called third world. We have gone through a lot here and have been a beacon of hope for the whole earth. Let me tell you, the reason why so many people wanted to come to America, it wasn't just for financial upward mobility or to make a better way for themselves. That's the part. Let me tell you what they've been hiding. We have been their hope, fighting against injustice throughout the earth. And that's the opportunity most of our people are seeking to cleave to when they come here. The hope that a people inspired by the Most High in Christ, being a what you would call political minority in the earth, stands up against all oppression and make a way for everyone else. That have been our plight. That's been our plight since we've been here, before the Mayflower, and when a lot of us got here off of slave ships left for dead. We've been that hope. Now, in that hope, Satan is seeking to destroy the nucleus of hope, Judah. And we're not prepared for this in America. Why? Because we don't know what it is to live under a third world system. To some degree, when others come amongst us, they have an advantage. What's the advantage? Listen to me and listen to me good. See, as America progressed through different transformations, the industrial age, the high-tech age, all the way to the point where AI is moving things right now. We have progressed since slavery and was right there, creating the ingenuity and operating amongst the power structure to make this what it is. Understand that. Now, they would go their separate way while we went into our little conclaves or churches. But all in all, the greatness of this place, all the glory that people seek to as good, we were an integral part of this. But here's the issue. While we were rising with the upward mobility that is America, these other people had to struggle. And through that, they had to find unique ways of surviving that none of us can't even fathom. That none of us can't even fathom. Now, of course, we are resourceful. But what they're dumping on against us right now, there's no school can get us through this. What are they doing? Listen to me and listen to me good. Now, the remnant is going to make it because we adapt. They're looking to dismantle all corporate employment. That's what they're doing. They're not telling you, or the whole world would be in an uproar if they told you and what it means for you. But what it means is what? Taking all resources. So there's no way of physically protecting ourselves, having no assets or anything liquid to fight against what's here. They're going to slowly but surely take all, and this is what the immigration thing is about. I've been speaking about it over and over again. That's what came in the pandemic. Don't have them believe that this is something that just began with the Democrats. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but it was a tough struggle going through losing a lot of our loved ones in the so-called pandemic. But I don't think y'all noticed, and I noticed this because I've had some people, some family, who didn't make it through. Including my mother, who I love with my own life. And one thing I noticed during that time is when I went into these hospitals, and I dealt with more than one in Jersey, one not too far from here. And I was hearing the same thing, that a lot of these doctors in these particular hospitals were foreigners. And I'm not talking about regular foreigners. They were speaking in a serious Eastern Europe accent. A lot of these doctors were from somewhere else for this particular time. And we had no idea that a lot of these people were moved around into what we believe once was a trusting system that was for our turn. On top of this, they brought in workers. And these workers were used to third world scenarios, but they didn't bring in any workers because some of these people are good and they're trying to do what's right. But they brought in a lot of people that weren't loyal to their own home place or place they came from, where they was the divisive ones who would try to destroy where they came from, and they began to align those against us. The great tactic of divide and conquer. And they're looking to do everything, construction, you name it, and they're looking to do it right up under our nose with the people who know they're here against Judah. So I'm not here to cry about it. I'm here to inform brothers and sisters, to blow the trumpet and say, you know what? It's time to start pivoting. That nothing is going to go back to the way it was. People call it a pandemic, but I'm more so looking at it from the scripture standpoint, from the Bible, and understanding that this is a rendition. A rendition. And it doesn't matter how they try to aim this geopolitically and make you believe it's something else. At the end of it, all the darkness and destruction is usually aimed at the lost tribes of Israel. So what are we going to do? We're going to pivot. We are going to pivot, and I'm going to show you how. Because, like I've mentioned, they thought they could keep Israel down. But the Feast of Dedication gives us insight of a people that have been destroyed over and over and over again, only for the heavens to fight in our stead, and eventually we would clean up our temple, stand in our courage to fight back spiritually. Now, not unlike what we came out of, the Christian church or whatever the case is, it had its place. But the modern day Christian church is finished. Not that there wasn't any substance to it as far as faith is concerned. But faith without works is dead. And you don't see something coming politically and not prepare physically. So we have to understand what we're up against. And guess what? We have to operate as if the jobs are going away. So how do? You assimilate. What you mean by that, Elder Rawchaa? Well, you look at the jobs that they are taking from us and given to others to financially squeeze us out. And we begin to privately, individually, take up those trades. Because these will be the essential trades when things start, the essential occupations when things start going down. If you know how to be a carpenter, we have to teach our young men, like I said before, to become carpenters. Seamstress. Get some tractors. And say, you know what? We see them cutting the lawn for this amount. We're going to cut the lawns for a fraction of what they'll pay them. They move people. We will move people at a fraction of what they're moving people with. And all the manual labor that they're trying to steal from us, we assimilate. One thing I like about the GOCC network is that we found out that our people have many gifts untapped that we haven't tapped into, that we're going to need to support one another. Because when these others come here, let me tell you, they create a conclave and only let their own people in. And that's political and or otherwise. So we must assimilate. Now, a lot of that conversation happens on the outside of here. But I'm going to tell you, we're going to have to be proactive in this. Elder Lawya, if you will, because the wisdom of Solomon breaks down each step, how the enemy think. Then in the next chapter, it goes into what they would do to defile the temple. And then the next chapter, it breaks down what we become through all of this. Elder Lawya, if you can, please go to the Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter. Let's start with how the ungodly think. Read it.
Yes, sir. Wisdom of Solomon 2:1.
Read it.
For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright.
Not aright.
Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air.
Come on.
Verse 4, and our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof.
So the enemy is looking at life as something fleeting, seeking to use the earth as a form of just entertainment, with thinking that they don't have no hope beyond this. Read.
5, for our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning. For it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again.
Come on.
Come on, therefore. Let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creature like as in youth.
Let's use the earth like one big toy. Everything is our play thing. Let's use the earth like one big Disney World. Because who knows what comes after this? That's what they think. So we become what? Their jesters. We become their muse. Something that they can toy with. And that's how they see our children. Read.
7, let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered.
Come on.
Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave the tokens of our joyfulness in every place. For this is our portion, and our lot is this.
And our lot is this. The whole world is our brothel. Look at what we had to endure with not only them tearing down the only spiritual refuge we had, which was once the Christian church. It wasn't enough for that. They had to have pride parades celebrating the spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah. Men dressed in drag, dancing with no clothes on in front of our children. Getting into our institutions and indoctrinating the world to accept all that God hates. And then I'm going to show you how they would meticulously use our people as the face of this. You're talking about a destitute, decrepit, and a destroyed temple. Let's read it. 10.
Verse 10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man. This is how they sit amongst their city councils and amongst their little secret meetings. These people, these so-called trusted politicians. And I tell people, don't let no one tell you that if you believe in the Most High, you shouldn't be looking into politics. You are a fool if you don't understand politics. Because they're in secret meetings, and their whole plan is to what? Let us oppress the what?
The poor righteous man.
The poor righteous man. That's what they're doing. They're sitting in city council. Guess what? You have people, these crazy freaks they put in position, who are sitting there talking about seceding their state and breaking away from the union to protect those they brought in to align against us. So don't tell me they don't have the fortitude to fight for what they believe in. Because I've never seen this so-called America stand 10 toes down for us. When our people are suffering, homeless, on drugs, where was those politicians saying that we're going to break from the union? We will fight the government if these people stay in such deprivation. So don't tell me they can't fight. They fight to oppress our people. There are states all over the United States right now saying that once this happens, once there's a change of power, that these states will fight with everything in them to keep these people here. Why? Who are these people? Why were they brought in? Okay, because I didn't see them fight for us this way. And we built the country. So who are these people that's aligned against us? And not to say that there's some that didn't come through who just want an opportunity. We're not talking about them. Okay? We're talking about the others that are coming through the Trojan horse. And we know their minds are to what? To oppress the poor righteous people. Now, just a sidebar before I go back in. A little sidebar. If you do any history concerning the construct of a republic. When our people had Jerusalem before the temple was destroyed after the death of Christ, when we had Israel, there was a political construct set up led by the Sanhedrin. But we were still under the power of Caesar. Now, under a republic, you must deal with the will of the people. Hence the reason why the Pharisees and scribes just couldn't grab Christ and kill Christ and do what they wanted to do against him, knowing that they were unjust. They had to rally the people together in a what? Political frenzy. They're like a riot. In order to press Caesar into making a decision that would appease the people. And I'm showing you how politics even work when you look at the Bible. How politics work. They couldn't just get rid of a person. There was law in place. So they had to bring him before the council and judge them amongst the courts first, and then bring it so that Caesar can put his stamp of approval when it comes to what? Killing or letting free our king. Now, to show you how laws work and how they work behind the scene, Pilate says, well, okay, they need some skin. Caesar have already signed off on this. It have went up, and there's an uprising amongst the people that's actually causing disruption. Disruption amongst a citizenry that's not together affects the economy. It affects trade. It affects diplomatic conversations that would drive the country further politically. And if you got the main people in an uproar over one guy, They're slowing up everything. So Pilate says, listen, I find no fault in this man. For everything I'm telling you, folks, was government conversation. It's not just in this Bible. You can read this in the annals of Rome. We had Israelites running around like zealots saying that they will burn up the whole country before Jerusalem falls. Dividing the republic. And I'm just showing you it from a political vantage point. There was a lot going on during the time of Christ. And what did Pilate say? I see no fault in this man. And what did he do before the people? He washed his hands and says, the blood is not on me. He says, and matter of fact, even before that, he says, listen, I beat him already. I chastised him. What else do you want? Look, I see no fault. They beat him almost to death to spare his life. And say, look, is this not enough for you? Folks, that's us. We've been beat to nothing. Is that not enough for everybody? And you know what the people says? He says, listen, let these people free. They're without fault. They're without fault. This man is without fault. That was the white man who said, let him go. And he says, here's a custom. Once a year, there's a custom that we must release one person from the prison. One person. Here's Barabbas, someone who have terrorized your people. An unrepentant, wicked man. And this innocent man. And you know what they said? And folks, this was our people along with a frenzy within certain parts of the government. They said, give us Barabbas. Kill this innocent man. And I'm doing the parallel to show you why they choose others over us. Idolaters, wicked men, sinners who would come in even during a time of uncertainty and help kill our own families so that they can have a place that they didn't fight and die for. They would rather have others. So if you don't understand the political landscape and how it coincides with this Bible, you don't understand the Bible. Folks, there's a reason why everyone can say what they want to say publicly. Not us. And it frustrates me sometimes because I'm able to roll something of my thoughts with the Most High give me right off the tongue without any filter. And you don't know what it is to have to harbor that for the sake of having a platform that can get to so many people. They know that what's coming from the word of the Almighty and when it comes to what's happening politically and prophetically is quantified right here. And they would, guess what though? If we were radical, if we was out there saying the white man is this and the white man is that and we're going to do this and we'll be able to say anything we want. They would allow us because that act of being brutish discredits the Holy Spirit. And it discredits everything you bring forth. And because they can't use that against us, it's serious censorship. But we fight through it. They don't want the people to be able to connect the dots. They want you to believe that if you're dealing with this Bible, you're not supposed to actually talk about politics. That's a fool. Christ's crucifixion was political. What happened to us in 70 AD was a government coming against us. And on top of that government, it's a desolation connected to it. And if we don't understand that political history, we're going to fall for this desolation. They're conspiring behind closed doors to utterly get rid of Israel, but it's deeper than anybody can imagine, folks, when it comes to how they're going to deal with this unique sacrifice to their gods. So they say what? They say, so I just wanted to preface that with, don't listen, only the ignorant will sit there and tell you. Sit there and tell you, don't look at politics. That's a fool. That's a fool. How many of you are, raise your hand. How many of you work out there? Raise your hand. Work. Yeah, you work and you know, you make, you earn. You do, that's mostly everyone in here. Right? Your money is going towards planning for you. You're giving your money to the politicians to not understand how that's going to affect you. That's ridiculous. No. If I put my money in something, I need to know how that money turns back in my interest. Especially in a world of capitalism, the money's going towards something. So anybody that tell you if you're in the Bible, you're not supposed to look at politics, guess what? These people are told not to see prophecy. Everything that happened to our people was political. Everything. So they sit around and find new ways, playing dumb though, to trick us into our own demise. So the Bible says what? Let us what?
Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged.
Let us not spare the widow. They don't care about our elderly women. They don't care about our women. They don't care about our men. They don't care about our children. Let's tear them apart. Let's play on their emotions. Let's weaponize their hurt. And use the hurt that we cultivate in their society as a means of divide and conquer. Let them have misplaced anger and just destroy one another. Let them sue one another, kill one another, abuse one another, destroy one another. And the whole time we're there saying, I understand. But you know what? It'll be us on either side of the man and woman saying, I understand.
Right.
And siphon the life out of you while our children suffer. Divide and conquer. Playing on the straight, I would say, the straight anger that this society has created amongst us. Let us oppress the poor righteous people. Read.
Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged.
Come on.
Let our strength be the law of justice.
And we know what we're going to use?
Let our strength be the law of justice.
We're going to make the laws up as we go along. Let the law be the strength of our justice. We have blood-sucking lawyers on either side benefiting from this divide and conquer. We'll build great constructs. Let me tell you, when I left Philadelphia years ago and went overseas, I remember the family court was some little place between a little small street downtown. I came back and seen family court. It looks like the Taj Mahal. Where did this money come from? They weren't there for family. They weren't there talking about what about the children? You know it isn't child support. Stop lying, stop playing dumb. Then it so happens when you go into these places, it's nothing but LGBTQ, even of our people, LGBTQ in high positions in these particular places. What they would like to call LGBTQ, when the Bible calls it Sodom and Gomorrah. We didn't let sinners in the wedge to exact justice when it comes to our family. That's why they love when we use court as a means of vengeance, because now you've let the devil in to destroy all of you. You think they care about the children? When the child usually go, and it's intentional, to the parent that would cause the greatest issues for that child. Has nothing to do with man or woman. They make more money if the child is dysfunctional. So they would rather the child grow up in a dysfunctional setting so that they can make money all the way from when that child is in the cradle all the way into the time it's being housed in the state penitentiary. Let us use the law. And they knew that what? They knew eventually that there would be a shift where the other side, who realized, sometimes it takes us longer to figure it out, realize what the game is, would begin to change the whole dynamic. When men would start saying, you know what, I'm not engaged no more. And by doing so, have successfully destroyed the hope of family. That was their plan the whole time. And while destroying us, the beacon of hope for the world, who stood for Christ, they began to promote all levels of debauchery and sin as a minority above us. That's how you successfully destroy the temple of God. Therefore, let us do what?
Let our strength be the law of justice.
And we're going to use the law. And guess what? Then we're going to give them pennies, making them believe that, okay, you're making this, you're making that. Not telling you that in a few years, there's not going to be any money for either side with the replacements. You fought each other, and the people that's coming in, guess what? They're not seeking to give you anything. See, what I do when I go into places, I look and I observe. And I look at the political landscape. I see the faces of the people. And I'm like, this is interesting. This is very interesting. I go into a post office, and I see nothing but East Indians. I see the people delivering the mail, and these people are from someplace else. I go into a restaurant and look behind the counter, and I don't see any one of us. I'm like, this is very interesting. And then you can barely see the quote unquote black man anywhere outside of certain conclaves or certain areas that's destitute. It's all intentional. But you know what? This is why I framed it in a way where we can all feel and understand our state. So you'll understand, because through this, they thought they could keep Israel down. They think we can't see. They think we're too weak to oppose their political aggressions. That's what they think. But they don't know the God of Israel. We see you. We know these politicians are not for us. And the Most High wouldn't have it any other way. He wouldn't have it any other way, because we would begin to put hope in man instead of the God who said everything we are experiencing would happen. They say, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Read.
Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Verse 11.
Come on.
Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth.
Read.
Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn.
Let us lie in wait for him, because they are not for our turn. They're not a part of the one world mindset. These people truly believes. But you know what? We just can't come against them. So we must lie and wait. Set traps. And when the opportunity comes, pounce. We'll get them in other strange ways. Hey, we got somebody who just came in, he's unconscious right now, and let's find out what's going on with this guy. He's been taken to a hospital, was in an accident, and then he comes up on the grid. Oh, he's one of them. Oh, boy, I'm so glad we got the Barack Obama database here, because we can figure out who's been opposing the system. Well, so what are we going to do? He probably came down with pneumonia. We're just going to lie and wait. Sooner or later, they're going to fall into one of our institutions. Folks, this is how they work. These databases aren't what you think. Read on.
12. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressions of our education.
And we tell them how ridiculous and stupid their educational system is. Knowledge is good, but I've never seen a system like this to educate your own people any place in earth. If you're looking for your nation to be above all nations, you would seek to educate your own for free. Right? Think about that. It's a stupid education system. If I didn't make a dime and I leave the college, now I came from the neighborhood dead broke, and I leave the college with debt up to $50,000 to $100,000, that I must work where there's no jobs to pay down. We tell people how stupid their educational systems are when they'll have someone come from someplace else, Ukraine and all of that, and under immigration, they'll get free education. See, they got us looking at the Venezuelans, our people. No. You better start looking at those Eastern Europeans that are walking around, who you don't know that they're not amongst the regular white population because they're not saying anything. These Ukrainians, these Serbians, these Eastern Europeans, all of that, they're here. So it says here, read it again.
Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous.
Let us lie in wait for the righteous. Read.
Because he is not for our turn.
Because he is not for our turn. So what we'll do is we'll make sure that we'll bring in atheists, nihilists, idolaters, those who hate Christ. They hated Christ before they came here. And we're going to put them up against Christ's people. Read.
And he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law.
And we tell them that you're breaking the law. See, when you got the truth, it's hard for them to walk around and play dumb when you ask them logical questions. They're very intentional, but these so-called politicians will get before you and act dumb. I'm like, if you think Kamala and these others, you think she was that same babbling person they had before you, that woman was very intentional with her plans, with her people's plans, being idolaters. And let me tell you, if you think they're just going to go away, you got another thing coming, because part of their plan is to finish the rendition. Destroying our people in the wake while rooting out immigrants is the plan. Oh, my fault. Oh, man. He's dead? Let me see. Oh, I thought he was an illegal. Oh, I thought she was an illegal. You see how this works? Oh, my bad. An illegal was living amongst them, and you know how there's collateral damage. Sort of how, Hamas is using children as human shields. I'm going to show you how they do this, folks. Don't think when they start rooting people out, there won't be collateral damage. Just remember, I said this on the Feast of Dedication, because at the end of the day, the target are the chosen. The immigrants and all these others, even though it's wrong, it gives the power structure plausible deniability when they come against us. Read on.
He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education.
Read.
He professeth to have the knowledge of God.
And we do. We got these ridiculous so-called, and let me tell you, I'm so glad they've come behind the veil, these so-called satanic apologetics. They try to sound so smart with the academia of this and the word in the Greek, and I'm like, you're simple as a day's old, okay? You don't know the Bible. You've boasted against the natural branches. Shut up and learn. Nobody's listening anymore. There's no people left in the church for you to control. It's over. And now they're in an echo chamber just speaking to themselves. He professeth he have the knowledge of God, and we do. This is our family's book. Thank you. And he calleth himself the child of the Lord, and we are. And we are. And you know what? That gets up in their craw, folks. Boy, do they feel a certain type of way when we stand up and say, yes, we're the children of Israel and we're back. You know, and you know what? And I intentionally coined that phrase after every broadcast. For years, when nobody knew the Most High name, I would tell everybody outright, I would say it after every broadcast, Ahia is his name. Over and over again. I'm blessed by the best, and Ahia is his name. And I would phrase it over and over and over again so that it can be what? So it can be remembered in the minds of those who view these videos, who hear the word of the Almighty taught through this church. And guess what? You can deny it, but you can't claim you didn't hear it. Right? And that's what I do with every broadcast. First I was Ahia because the world didn't know his name. But who out there can refute it? No one. No one. And now they know the Most High's name. Okay, it's time for you to know the people. We're the children of Israel, and we're back. We're not going nowhere. So that in of itself gets up in their craw. Because we're supposed to walk around as victims. And when I point out the plight of what's going on with our people, it's not to come off as if we're victims and, oh my God, no. Because we deal with the current issues and understanding for solutions. See, they want us as victims so that the white liberals who've been stabbing us in the back the whole time can pet us on the head and say, I understand. And you know why I understand? Because I get a big check from government for understanding what's going on with you black folk. So no, we're not victims. So they get mad because even though they've done so much against us, we still stand as God's people. Read. 14.
He was made to reprove our thoughts.
We were made to correct them. And that's what they don't like. We were made to correct their thoughts. Well, I'm educated. I got a BA in this and that. Listen, sit down. Who cares? But I went to school, and so we were made to reprove, to correct their thoughts. I'm sitting there before rabbis speaking to them, and I'm like, I'm in the Bible. And you see one of their eyebrows go up. Well, listen, I'm not going to deal with the New Testament. Let's stay in Torah. Another eyebrow goes up. I'm like, you alert, man. You're a rabbi. Oh, well, you probably don't know that everything that we actually believe in, it's not solely on the Torah. Oh, when were you going to tell us? Because we thought you were God's people. Well, sometimes it comes with the oral writings. And then I'll come back with what, Talmud? Oh, well, I got to go to the bathroom. See, they play dumb. They'll have us believe they believe in the word when really Their writings is contrary to God. And their writings is set up systematically within their political system to enforce their wicked beliefs against our Christ and against us. See? If we were in position to shape policy, our belief system would be an integral part of legislation. So understand everything you're seeing politically right now is coming from a religious ideology from them. It's something they believe to justify what we see politically happening in the earth. And that's why they're very hush when you start asking them to explain exactly what do you believe and what books is the source of your belief. Because you'll understand everything that we're experiencing in our neighborhoods right now was intentional. And it's a belief system set up by Satan himself against the children of Israel. See? So they love us going into their colleges and all these others because they can indoctrinate you as a little soldier for their synagogues. That's how it works. Read it.
15. He is grievous unto us, even to behold. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion.
His ways are of another fashion. I'm laughing because I never forget when it was years ago, we went to a Passover, and I had to go out and grab something it was a store not too far from the hotel, and I got my fringes on going into the store. And you should have seen a few guys with the black hats looking at my fringes. It's like, yeah, buddy, where did you get those? Oh, you want to see what real fringes look like, not a little this teeny little string with dirt on it. No. Listen, this is how Israel do it, right? Right? I'll never forget it. It's like, they got their little strings, little knots and lint on it. Nah. We are of another fashion. And when we put it on, you know what a Hebrew is. You know what an Israelite is. Right? I'm going to tell you, it's like you should have seen them looking at me. Like, I'll never forget this. Like, they try to act like they're not looking. They see these fringes blinging. Like, man, where did you get those? We are of another fashion. They can't stand it. Let me tell you, boy, they slick too. Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard the radio show. I say it over and over again, how that rabbi say, hey, if you want to become Jewish, hey, I can work it out. I mean, I can put in word for you. No, thank you. I'm Judah. There's a difference. No rabbi can co-sign what this is. And Christ said, call no man rabbi upon the earth, because there's only one master, and that's our God in heaven. So I wish I would go sit up on one of them, learn that nonsense. Let's read it.
16. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits.
And we tell them that they are counterfeits. They don't like that. They don't like that. Listen, they esteem us as counterfeit. That means you are losing your authority and power over God's people. They don't like that. Read.
He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness.
Come on.
He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God is his Father.
He is our Father. Ahaya is his name. Read.
Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of God,
if they truly are the son and daughters of God, read.
He will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies.
So that's a threat. Let's see if he's really. He says, if these people are the children of God, then guess what? Let's see if God's going to save them through what we conspire against them. That's a threat. Read.
19. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience.
That's what they do, folks. Behind closed doors, this is how they think. And they only align themselves with our people who think like them. That's how it is. In a nutshell, I've examined certain things. It's like having the scenario in the corporate world in which they have that bulldog that usually you work, and this is no slight on anybody if you have this occupation, but every corporation that I've ever been with, that old black human resource officer, that woman, boy, she does all the dirty work, claiming that she's working independent, as if she isn't an arm of a company. See, I wanted to shape that for you because these are the people they usually align themselves with. That old human resource woman. You think you telling on a job, and then she's sitting there listening to you. Man, they working me to death, man. I need to call my union. Okay, right. And what did he say to you again? You think you got somebody on your side. The inside snitch. 3 hours later, your boss is downstairs with her. These are the people they align themselves with. Those that works for the corporation, but yet try to play the middle. These are your politicians, folks. So it says, read that last piece, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir. 19.
Come on.
Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience.
Come on.
Let us condemn him with a shameful death.
Let's condemn him with a shameful death. And folks, soon I'm going to have a lesson on the true desolation of abomination. And wait till y'all hear this lesson. How they truly are working. What the end game is with them trying to get rid of us is crazy. It's insane. When the Bible says, woe to them that give suck in that day, we haven't even scratched the surface to what that truly means. I'm talking about what they're going to do, what they're planning to do with our babies. I'm going to tell you, it's going to make everybody on earth say, you know what? Let's second guess this abortion thing. That's how heinous it is. Abortion in and of itself is Moloch sacrifice. And what they're going to do with the children after being born is worse than that. And that's why they got all these strangers coming in. Because what? These people don't have any emotional attachment to us. and child sacrifice and having a blood from dark energy is a part of their religious practices. Wait till y'all see that lesson. And a majority of our family, our people, are going to fall to it because they aren't spiritually prepared to oppose it. Let's read it.
Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them.
Their own wickedness have blinded them. Guess what? The Most High is not going to allow them to touch the anointed. Let me read this real quick. Why? Read the 3rd chapter, Elder Lawya, in the 1st verse.
Chapter 3, verse 1. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God.
The souls of the righteous are in the hand of God. So they can only do but so much. Come on.
And there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery. And their going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace.
Hold that. Now, Elder Lawya, I need you to go directly to the 4th chapter.
Yes, sir. Chapter 4.
From the top.
Yes, sir. Chapter 4, verse number 1. Better is it to have no children and to have virtue, for the memorial thereof is immortal, but it is known with God and with men.
It's better to have no children and have virtue. What does that mean? Usually you have children that would bring forth a name, a legacy of pride when it comes to an extension of God's people. That means the righteousness continue through your prodigy. But it's better to be righteous and die without children than to have children that would shame your name. Read.
Verse 2. When it is present, men take example at it, and when it is gone, they desire it. It weareth a crown and triumpheth forever, having gotten the victory, striving for undefiled rewards.
Come on.
But the multiplying brood of the ungodly shall not thrive, nor take deep rooting from bastard slips, nor slay any fast foundation.
Come on.
For though they flourish in branches for a time, yet standeth not fast, they shall be shaken with the wind, and through the force of winds they shall be rooted out.
Come on.
The imperfect branches shall be broken off, their fruit unprofitable, not right to eat, yea, meat for nothing.
Now check this out and what LBGT and all them aim towards us. And they got all up in the law. And a lot of us got caught into it thinking that, okay, it's the law, it's okay. They started coming up with stuff like irreconcilable differences. What? Oh, I'm divorced, okay. Adultery, what? No, we just don't get along. Oh, that's interesting. I was abused. Did he put his hand on you? I'm emotionally abused. Then you had men using the same tactics. So they started to incentivize separating. Listen to what it says. For children begotten of unlawful beds. Read.
Are witnesses of wickedness against their parents in their trial.
Is a witness of wickedness against their parents in their trial. So they aim towards us a system of children who would be produced through unlawful beds. Children that would have a disadvantage compared to these other people they are targeting their satanic indoctrination towards. So it went right into, when you read this, it goes into what the unrighteous think in their city councils. Then it goes into now that our God is going to save the righteous, but also then it goes into the end result of their conspiracy. We're going to make unlawful beds, and their children will be produced without understanding what it is to have a loving father and mother. Crazy, ain't it? It's in the scriptures the whole time. We're going to have a whole community of people coming through unlawful beds. Children that grow with attitude and anger because they know they're being slighted. They know it's unfair to not have what they see others have when it comes to parents. What about me? Why did God do this to me? And these people become rebellious. And that's what they engineered, folks. Read.
7. But though the righteous be prevented with death, yet shall he be in rest.
Come on.
For honorable age is not that which standeth in length of time, nor that is measured by number of years.
Come on.
But wisdom is the gray hair unto men, and an unspotted life is old age. He pleased God and was beloved of him, so that living among sinners he was translated. Yet speedily he was not taken away, lest that wickedness should alter his understanding, or deceit beguile his soul. Verse 12. For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest, and the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind.
Come on.
He being made perfect in a short time fulfilled a long time. For his soul pleased the Lord, therefore hasted he to take time away from among the wicked. This the people saw and understood it not, neither laid they up this in their minds, that his grace and mercy and his saints is with his saints, and that he have respect unto his chosen. Thus the righteous that is dead shall condemn the ungodly which are living, and youth that is soon perfected the many years of an old age of the unrighteous.
Now this is deep in of itself, because the Most High at the end of this has a judgment. And even when you go into the pseudepigrapha and the other precepts, it links the apocalypse of Paul. That even the children that have been aborted unjustly, with their excitement going into their coming into life, that they stand before the throne waiting in judgment of their father and mother, who didn't respect that life, who sought to look in his mother's eyes and give his father joy. No one gets away. No one gets away. The 5th chapter.
Chapter 5, verse 1.
And then at the end of this, all the trials and tribulations that have been aimed towards us, seeking to destroy us, but yet we're still here. And not only are we still here, the love we have for our God and the respect we have for Christ's sacrifice is unwavering. We're still standing strong in the faith, in the belief in our God, even though the Gentiles have aimed all types of ill towards us and destruction against our children, our love for the Most High in Christ is unwavering. And that's a temple in of itself the Most High see worthy to uphold and have that temple rise above the rest. No other nation who have gone through what we've gone through would have still stood with this God. And that's another thing the Gentiles don't like about us. They don't like the fact that they know we've been unfairly treated, but still have the faith and patience of the saints. They can't stand that. Why haven't you turned to witchcraft already? Why haven't you turned to Satan already? Mm-hmm. If your God was anything, your neighborhoods wouldn't be what it is, and yet you're going to still stand with that God? And we're like, yes. Yes, we're going to stand with him. Because through Christ and all we went through, we have the power to heal these ills. Even if you've destroyed us, we're the healers. Now what? The people you have broken, wait till you see their change. And that's what's going to just shock the nations when all of this is said and done. Check this out. The first verse, read it.
Yes, sir, 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors.
Come on.
When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation.
All of these nations are going to be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation. They're not going to believe it. We had them down for the count. And the count was at 9. Like Masada, we surrounded Jerusalem. We poisoned them. We destroyed them. We've enslaved them. We had laws to pit them against one another. We stole their children. We sold their children. Now look at them. How did they make it through this? And it says that they're going to look at the strangers of our salvation. And you know what? And at that point, even the Gentiles are going to know the God of Israel is real. Christ, the one we denied while serving these idols, he was the Savior. And check it out. We're so proper as a people with righteous decorum. We're not even going to rub it in their face. We're not going to say, we're not even going to treat you like you treated us. You have to suffer. You have to suffer in your minds in that amazement with how I would never do to you what you've done to us. You're going to have to live with that. Because we're going to treat you good. How you like us now? Right? It's one thing to sit there and want to seek vengeance. It's another thing to kill them with a smile. Guess what? You didn't get rid of any of us. Even the children you got rid of is amongst us with new bodies, being glorified before Christ. You couldn't get rid of us. We still stand. Guess what, folks? These children that they got rid of under their Moloch sacrifice, when it comes to our people, they will be a part of our change. They're coming back with Christ. Two, when you see it, read.
When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear.
Come on.
And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation.
Come on.
So far beyond all that they look for.
So far all that they look for. Read.
And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision in a proverb of reproach.
These were the people that we called names behind their backs. Oh, they're dumb. They're stupid. They're this. They're that. Let me go use these stupid people for their vote. They're voting for nothing. This is what they think of us. These are the only people that vote based on rage while everyone else get paid. That's what they were thinking. We'll just get them mad a few months before the election. That's it. The white man racism. There it is. Okay? This was he whom had sometimes in derision and a proverb and a reproach, speaking us, looking at us as dirt and speaking negatively in our presence, using their home language. Read.
4. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of God?
That's what they're going to be thinking. How is these people, how were they numbered amongst the children of God? Where's Sexy Red? Man, where's Eazy-E? How are they the righteous people? Read.
And his lot is among the saints. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the Son of righteousness rose not upon us.
Read.
We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yea, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way, but as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it.
We thought we had it going on in Islam. Being Buddhist, Hindus, witchcraft, and all these others. We thought we had the secret. And it says, but as the way of the Lord, read.
We have not known it.
We have not known it. You should have learned the book. Read.
8. What if pride profited us, or what good have riches with our vaunting brought us? All those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasteth by, and as a ship that passeth over the waves of the water, which when it is gone by, the trace thereof cannot be found, neither the pathway of the keel in the waves. Or as when a bird hath flown through the air, there is no token of her way to be found, but the light air being beaten with the stroke of her wings, and parted with the violent noise, and motion of them is passed through, and therein afterwards no sign where she went is to be found.
Now go down to the 13th verse.
Verse
Even
number 13. So, even so in like manner, as soon as we were born, began to draw to our end, and had no sign of virtue to show, but were consumed in our own wickedness.
Come on.
For the hope of the ungodly is like the dust that is blown away with the wind.
They will not be remembered. All they have done to destroy us, all they have done to put up tokens of victory against our people throughout the earth, folks, they will not be remembered. It tells you in the book of Revelation that they aren't written in the book of life. It's going to be as if they never lived. See? There's no reading their history books in our kingdom. They will be written out of history for what they have done against us. See? See how it works? Read.
For the hope of the ungodly is like the dust that is blown away with the wind. like a thin froth that is driven away with the storm, like as the smoke which is dispersed here and there with a tempest, and passeth away as the remembrance of a guest that tarrieth but a day.
But the righteous?
But the righteous live forevermore.
But the righteous what?
But the righteous live forevermore.
Come on.
Their reward also is with the Lord, and the care of them is with the Most High.
Because in this world, let me tell you, no one cares for us. Only the Most High Christ in the heavens are for our turn. No one cares for us. I see how these people are standing ready to go to war ready to deal with a civil war for all the strangers they brought in to fight against us. I'm like, yo, these politicians, they do have fight when it's for something that interests them. So where was that same fight for us? Elder Lawya, let's go to Revelation 10 real quick.
Yes, sir.
We're going to round it out, and we're going to end it with the volley of Jehoshaphat, how the Most High is going to have these nations destroy one another. See, you reap what you sow. You have a law of divide and conquer and destruction amongst God's people. Well, guess what? The Gentiles who conspired together, he's going to have the Gentiles take out one another. And at the end, the Gentiles will see us standing in glory, all white with our fringes on. Revelation 10, let's read it.
Revelation 10, verse 1.
And I saw
another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire.
Now, when you look at that word rainbow, even though the Satanists, the Sodom and Gomorrites, tried to take that as their emblem, the rainbow represents the covenant the Most High made in the beginning after the flood with the righteous man and him. It's the covenant that goes all the way to Christ. And that's why out of all the things they could have chosen, speaking of these crazy freaks out here, they meticulously and intentionally chose the rainbow to mock God. Christ fulfilled that covenant between man and God, what was given to Noah, all the way to Abraham to his son. And now the freaks have tried to take that. Read, and I'm going to tell you, I didn't study that spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah and what that's really about, how they use it politically. They attach it to anything they seek to explode. Anything that they look to control or to destroy, they'll attach that to it. It'll be devalued, and then guess what? It goes away. It has no value. So if you attach it to marriage, it'll implode marriage. You attach it to family, it implodes family. No matter what it's sent in to do, it's not the same once it's attached to that. That's how they use that stuff politically. It have nothing to do with who they're sleeping with and who they want to love. It's used as a political heat-seeking missile to destroy anything that's sovereign or that can resist the power. They use that group. Whatever it attached itself to, it devalues, and it's intentional. Read.
Verse 2. And he had in his hand a little book open.
Come on.
And he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot upon the earth, and cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices.
Come on.
And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying, Seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and sware by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven, and the things that are therein, and the earth, and the things that are therein, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be no time no longer.
There shall be time no longer. The end, right? There shall be time no longer. Now, why am I going here? Because I gave y'all the geopolitical construct of how the Gentiles are aligned against us. But now, let's go into the heavenly view of how the Most High is doing things. There's a little book he gave to the angel. And check out what this book does. Read on.
Verse 7. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he began to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets.
Now we know the mystery of God is the gathering of the 12 tribes of Israel under one, like it once was in the beginning. That's the mystery the world don't understand. The true world order. See? Satan is trying to do it on a low level and to unite all people. And through that, use their systems, their technology to rid the earth of Israelites. And the Most High has a new order, not a new world order, to finish this, to save the people they are seeking to destroy, and to have the Gentiles destroy one another before servitude. So Satan is trying to bring in an order, but it's nothing new what he's trying to do. He's trying to be like God, to have all people under one religion serving him. Check out this book.
Verse 8. And the voice which I heard
No,
from...
read 7.
Yes, sir.
In the
7.
days of the voice.
But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he began to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets.
As he has declared to his servants the prophets. Read.
And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said...
And said what?
Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up.
Take it and eat it up. Now we know the heavenly tables have been made into scrolls. He's speaking of this book. Eat it up. Consume the word of God. Read.
And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey.
Because what? It's bitter when you have to deal with the realization of this world. This world has programmed us to have a cognitive dissonance, to look at the world through these rosy lenses, so to not have to endure the reality of it. That's what this world does. That's why most people don't even want to hear nothing, because they made their little conclave of happiness to shield them from the reality they know exists. Right? But the Bible, you can't do that. When you consume this, you have to deal with the realness of what the world is. It's vile. It's wicked. It's a world that feeds off of the blood of children. And that's when it becomes bitter, because now it's like, okay, I can't stand on the sideline no more. What must I do, understanding the world that we've been taught to ignore? And that's when it becomes bitter. And then that's when the Most High is like, well, okay now. You where my son is. Let's fix it. Let's fix those. Let's fix those who want to be saved. Right? We take that book and it become bitter, like, man. That's why initially There's an anger component where now we're lashing out at everybody who did something against us. And you got white guys like, hold on, I'm poor just like you, God. And you white. You go through all these metamorphoses, and that's that bitterness because you're just upset that the world lied to you, and it seems like we were the only people that weren't brought to the party. But then it becomes sweet as honey. It tell you that. Read it.
Verse 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey.
All that good stuff, we're the chosen. Read.
And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter.
My belly was bitter because you realize the history of the desolation and what the true plans are against us politically in the earth. They want us gone. That's just the truth. They've been cobbling around the edges with this. You know how the politicians try to play with us for a few years? Oh, yeah, let's go out there. I mean, you got them trying to take away our voters' rights. I'm like, voters' rights? If I wanted to vote, whoever had a problem voting in here? You see how they play with you? When really it was vote for your replacements. That's how they've been playing with us. Oh no, there's a disease running around here, and you better do something quick because this disease, everybody can have it. And next thing you know, there's a funeral every other week. A rendition. Those are the bitter things. And he said, 11.
And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings.
And he said unto me that we must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. And you know what it's talking about? The true people of God standing up in the end days, at the end of time. We had your Billy Grahams, your Jimmy Swaggarts, and all these other hustlers from the pulpit. But nothing is resonating more like when Israelites, the children of the prophets, began to speak. The world began to change. 11.
Chapter 11, verse 1. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise, and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein.
Here is the dedication. And this was after the temple was rent. Measure the temple. You go out throughout the Holy Spirit and speak. And I'm going to gather and cleanse the temple of God way better than the Maccabees could have done it. You go out and you measure my people. They've been waiting to hear this distinct understanding of themselves when it comes to the Almighty. And the Most High knew it. We were walking through this earth the whole time, folks, knowing something wasn't right, but couldn't put our finger on it. We knew something wasn't right. And the Most High said, you know what? You go speak. I'll tell them, because no one know my children like me. I made every one of them. They'll know it's me. Go speak to them. Go measure the temple of God. Not the physical temple, it's destroyed. But the temple still exists. Read.
Verse 2. But the court which is without the temple, leave out.
Don't measure the court that outside of the temple. Read. For it's what?
And measure it not, For it is given unto the Gentiles.
It says don't measure the Gentiles because they're not counted for the number. You can teach the Gentiles, but you can have 1 billion Gentiles come to the truth, and we would still be in what? Esau's time, Esau's world. Because the Gentiles aren't numbered for the sum. It was written in heaven that at a certain number of Israelites that come to this truth, Christ would return. So you can measure 1 billion Gentiles, and Esau would still be in rulership. So that's why they had the act of divide and conquer, to keep us off kilter. Because they're trying to slow up that number that keeps Esau's empire going. So he says, don't measure it. Don't measure the Gentiles. You can teach the Gentiles. They're okay. But you need to get these people. These are the people that Satan have been sitting in their temple, dividing them from their God. We need the children of Israel's minds sound. Okay? We need to get them. 144,000 measure. He sent an angel into the earth and say, go tell them. Now, it's one thing. Then people started thinking, I wonder. And then when you started thinking, I wonder, next thing you know, someone was before you with the word of God. And you was like, you know what? I was thinking that just now. This is how the Most High take that measuring stick and bring us together. And speaking of politics, I'm going to show you how great the Most High is. He said in the prophecies of Christ in the book of Isaiah, the 7th chapter, that the government would be on Christ's shoulders. We are his government. Now check that out. We will be appointed as a part of Christ's government. So it's ridiculous not to understand politics and how things are governed when that's your position as the righteous. How can you get the world together and not understand the construct of governance? See how it works? Yeah, we go on to church, we're having a good time, we're doing God's law, but we're learning a lot as we deal with our trials and tribulations amongst one another. We have to set certain things forward for solutions when it comes to issues, counsels. Someone did something wrong, and now we must come with what? We must come with some type of resolve so that either side can operate together righteously. And we think we're just doing it because there's issues amongst us. No, these are actions we're learning to how to govern. And that's why Paul says, how dare any of you know in Christ, in this church, go to the law before the saints. Don't you know that the saints will judge the world? That the saints will judge angels? We're being taught how to govern in righteousness. It's going to be all types of issues with the Gentiles fighting each other in the mind, being in the minds they were in this world, and we're going to have to come with righteous resolve. But it starts with us being able to resolve issues amongst us. Read it.
But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not. For it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months.
That 42 months is the time of the dividing of times. And we're at the end of them treading the temple. Hence what we're seeing with all the nations, that they're now strategically put right in our faces. These people, a lot of them in their minds, not all, but a lot of them know that they're being incentivized to destroy us. Read on.
3. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies.
Come on.
And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed.
And he must in this manner be killed. Now, when you look at this, these are the same powers that was given Moses coming out of Egypt to defy or to actually ward off the Nephilim in the other countries. They try to come against it, and fire would come down. The earth would open up. The 2 witnesses is God's people, Israel and Judah, coming together under Christ. And as we're led out of this, there's going to be 2 angels before the heavens that will bring power before our camp to make sure we survive this siege. And the reason why, see, it's not hocus pocus. It's not, let me show you what I can do. I got magic. No. The reason why the sea was split, because there was a necessity for the sea to split. Okay? We would have died by the hands of Pharaoh if there wasn't a spiritual intervention. Folks, that's how we're going to get to the wilderness. The angels will fight for us. The fire will come down. The waters will obey the name of Yeshua. And that's the power that I know that comes through the Holy Spirit that's in all of us. We will be unified under one Spirit that will guide us. This is why this church went through a lot of shaking, trials, tribulations, but it's really to bring us closer to a point where, you know what? Regardless of what I think, everyone really, cannot say that, all right, that they can relate to everyone. Everyone weren't meant to be buddies. But you know what? At the end of the day, the Most High going to have a spirit in this church after all we've gone through to say, you know what? I can't really say that I'm connected to this person that type of way because they do things a little differently. It's not like, that would be my friend in the world. But I'll tell you what, I trust this person. And I think sometimes we get that confused. We think that, we think how people think in the world where because there's certain pet peeves of what rubs me the wrong way, that means that this person isn't for me, or wouldn't die for me, or don't love me. Everyone has different characters. And that's why I don't measure someone based on, some of my dislikes. Because I understand my dislikes were shaped within this world. Okay? It was shaped before the Most High had me understand the truth. So now, oh man, I don't trust this person because what? Someone had a similar character to that slighted me in the world? No. So we're going to have those things where some of us really, we can't go sit down, and have wine together. That's okay too. We're going to have wine tonight. It's called communion wine and bread. This is where we commune and understand that, you know what? The Most High have built something in this world through the Spirit to where even though this person isn't the personality that I would normally understand, it's the body of Christ. And that makes this person my friend. And I'll tell you, that's what Paul was breaking down. Paul was a deep, deep brother. Because he understands the nature of man is to see things simply. Right? And that's no slight on man, but men are simple. Men are just, I'd rather be like this and that's it. I don't want to think outside of that. Paul was more complex. And he would give examples to have us understand that we're all equally important, but yet there's different functions. You can't have your elbow or part of your arm look at your fingers and say, I got a problem with you. The fingers aren't asking the arm to do what the arm does, and the arm isn't asking the fingers to do what they do. But guess what? They work together. And then when he went into the members of the body and the ministration, it have us understand that every person is important according to why they were called. And it's nothing personal against, man, I don't like what he said about this, and I don't like what this, listen. None of us are perfect, but we have all been chosen for the end times. And you can say what you want about this family. Hey, we are all the family we have, and we don't get a new one. Who got time for a new one? And I thank the Most High for this family. And when I see the dedication of the Almighty and see how He has blessed so many people and the trials and tribulations that we've all gone through, the families we have lost, the mourning we've done one amongst another, the celebrating we've done amongst each other, for good or bad, how we've always been here for one another, I know the Most High is preparing us for something greater than what we've dealt with so far. It's a bond in the body of Christ that can only lead us through by trusting one another. Elder Lawya, if you will, let's go back to the valley of Jehoshaphat and end it here.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll do our communion. And I'm going to tell you, one thing I like about doing communion, right, is that I can, in good earnest, take the bread and take the wine without thought, without wondering, is there somebody, that ordered me that I didn't talk to? You don't got, like I said, you don't got to worry about that. People get upset with me because if there's an issue, I'm confronting you in the spirit of meekness same day. You don't have to worry about what I'm thinking. Okay, you don't have to worry about, you can't put words in my mouth and say I said something. No. If there's an issue, you may not like it, right? Because we're living in a world where people can think something and be off in their minds and live with that. I can't do that. I can't do that. I'd rather someone be truthful with me and say, hey, Elder, I respect who you are, but, I don't like you. Okay. That's good. You don't have to like me. But guess what? You're going to respect me. And that's the whole thing. If someone is, and that's why even Paul says, you show me your faith, and I'll show you my faith by my works. And someone, and that's including you who have works, the Most High gave you that works, and no man can take it from you. Understand that. And we can't be in this world walking and thinking about how others feel about you when you know you're not doing anything against them. You can't operate like that, brothers and sisters. I wonder what they think. You shouldn't think that way of me. I wonder. No. Guess what? The Most High is right with you. He accepts you. So we have to get out of this thing and wondering what other people think and trying to fulfill someone else's expectations of you. Right? So the whole thing is going around full circle. What I do is all you can expect. And if that's good enough for what the Most High have entrusted me to do, then it's okay. The same way, brothers and sisters, every one of you are going to kick in at a point with the gifts the Most High have given you. It doesn't matter what it is. And guess what? If it's something that gets us through with a gift I don't have, I'll follow you. I'll follow you because I respect the body of Christ. And if you have a gift I don't, and it's your time to move something, what I'm going to do and say, hold up, guess who I am? No, brother, you have the gift to get us through this based on your experience. Go ahead. I'll follow you. Get me through until I'm fit to do what I need to do based on the gifts the Most High have given me. And that's how the body works. The Valley of Jehoshaphat. Joel, let me get it real quick. Joel, we're going to end it here. Joel, the 3rd chapter. Hold on. This is quick, and then I will take communion. Hold on. Okay, we got Hosea, then Joel. 1 second. Oh, well, okay, 1 second. I got a new Bible, so bear with me, folks. You know how these pages go. Let's go. The fulfillment of the temple, the cleansing of the temple. So what of those Gentiles? Let's read Joel 3:1. Let's read it.
Joel 3 verse 1. For behold, in those days and at that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
So at the same time, the Most High is gathering his people like what we're celebrating in the end of the Feast of Dedication. Simultaneously, there's spirits leading all of the Gentiles into the Middle East for that war. Read.
And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Judgment. Come on.
And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
So all the nations, the merchants, have turned our little boys out and given them and turned them out. Compromised their sexuality. Giving little girls up, where you have girls, instead of understanding the innocence of moving into their teens to find a husband, no soon as they are of age where they began to sprout, if I can use that word, they are taught to use their bodies for hire. They are taught to use their bodies for exchange. You think our God can't see this? Read.
4. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine?
So the Most High is saying, you people, you Europeans over there in the Middle East, what do you have to do with me? 5. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? So the Most High is saying, you people, you Europeans over there in the Middle East, what do you have to do with me? 6. Why are you fronting? Why are you lying? If you're going to conquer a country, do it like you used to do. Just tell people the Romans are here. Why use God's people's name to front your destruction? You're Romans. You're not Israelites. Read.
Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border.
Come on.
Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head.
I will raise them out of the place whither you have sold them. See, and that's that measuring stick that's getting our people ready. We think we're just, here following the law and all that. Nah. When the Most High began to call, it was not just a calling. It was also, at the end of it, calling us back into the land we lost. As a sign that we are the generation that's at the end of the curse. Every generation, folks, since we came off the slave ships, there was a small conclave, a small number of people through every generation who knew we were Israelites. Cambridge, like I showed on the broadcast the other night, have highlighted that. They've been tracking how many of our people understood we were Israelites for the longest. And I'm not talking about according to a religion, bloodline. But not to this magnitude. You wouldn't have had all over the earth this happening right now where the children of Israel know exactly who they are throughout those generations. And that in of itself states or shows in particular that we are at the end of our curse. So the Most High didn't give us this knowledge just to be reading the Bible. He's telling us, I'm about to welcome you back home. This is just some of the first steps into going back. Read.
8. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord have spoken it.
For the Lord have spoken it. See this? So these nations are going to be serving. It's according to the word of God. Read.
Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles.
And tell the Gentiles this.
Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up.
Read.
Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears.
Folks, it's about to be mayhem. It's about to be mayhem. All the nations are going to be firing one against another, fighting one another, blaming one another. That's the time we're living in right now. We will be saved through war. But it's time for us to look at this as the heavens prophesied it. Not to be, oh my God, where I'm going to go? What am I going to do? No, don't let anyone scare you during these times. I know people, a lot of people know. We went all over the earth. We the first ones started teaching. We must flee Babylon. Think about this. Do you think I would be here right now if I didn't know we had time? But when the Most High put a spirit in us, this time to say, it's time to go. You're going to know it's time to go. Why? Because America will leave us very little option with the replacements. We're not going to have to proclaim it's time to go. You're going to know it. Because in the midst of this war, the Gentiles think they need this war in order to break the infrastructures down to build the new world order. But they don't have time to build a new world order. They're really breaking it down so that these empires will never build back again. So they think they're dismantling the order, all the constructs, to put the whole earth under servitude and get rid of the children of Israel. That's their mind. But like it says in the book of the Wisdom of Solomon, that they're not thinking aright. They're not there to tear down constructs and build better. Once the construct of America is torn down, it's over. The Roman Empire will only have 1 hour with the beast, which is the last 7 years, and they're gonna be in war the whole time. There will be no peace. There will be no peace. And at that time, it's going to be war. All the nations that were once aligned together against us will be fighting one another. Right? Read on.
10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord.
And guess what, folks? When the cities break down, it's going to be crazy, because we're going to realize what's been hiding in those mountains, what's been in the woods, all of that stuff will become the true reality of what the earth is. See, hey, I started doing research the Babylonian kingdom and to why they made Nimrod a mighty man. He built a city that had a certain construct to save people from the giants and all that was in the mountains. So they can now live without being assailed upon with what's in the forest. And that's why they exalted him as king. Well, all of these constructs were set up under the Babylonian infrastructure so that they can now teach a reality of a construct that didn't exist before cities. Folks, when these cities come down, you're going to see creatures you didn't think existed. It's going to be mad in this world, everywhere in this world. And the whole time, the angel of the Lord is going to be right over us. He's going to be right over us, guiding us. And it's going to be mayhem out here. And the Most High is going to say, nah, my temple will be amongst men. I'm going to guide them through this. Read on.
12. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Read.
Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
Now, it says that all through the Bible. Why? Because the stars are luminaries, the sun and moon, luminaries. They have to take their original angelic form, so that the only light the earth sees is Christ returning. he will be the light and the only light for man on his way back. And that's why the scriptures states in the book of Revelation, every eye shall see him, because there'll be no other light outside of him. You talking about something epic. Let me tell you, we're going to be cheering, crying, afraid, every emotion at one time when he returns. Boy, let me tell you, I'm so glad to be on this side of the judgment. I'm going to tell you, Lord, he could have made me anything, and he made me Israel. Praise the Almighty. Read.
16. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore.
Yeah, you're not stealing nothing. Get out. Christ is coming with a big black boot with fringes on it. Get out. Read on.
18. And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and a fountain shall come forth out of the house of the Lord, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness.
Woo! Because it's the Egyptians and the Edomites who conspired together to hide our history. There was a brother who sent back the fragments that Napoleon knocked off of the nose of the Sphinx and all that over there, sent it back to Egypt. The Egyptians have it, and they refused to reconstruct the nose. Because people are like, oh man, that's a brother's nose. He says, Egypt will be desolate. Edom will be destroyed. The end of Rome. Read.
For the violence against the children of Judah.
Why?
Because they have shed innocent blood in their land.
And it says, for the violence against who?
The children of Judah.
Judah in specific. They've aligned everyone against Judah. Even our own people, they've aligned against Judah. Because they know Judah won't shut up. Judah is the roaring lion. Esau give us something and we're still complaining. Like, what? I gave y'all everything. What else you want? We want everything our God promised. And that doesn't include you standing in dominion over us. Read that last part, Elder.
Yes, sir. 19. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land.
Read, but Judah
shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for the Lord dwelleth in Zion.
For the Lord dwelleth in Zion. Now that's a real dedication when the earth becomes our temple and Jerusalem is cleansed. Praise the Most High.